Welcome to Hidden Gems of Nature. Today we're going to talk a little bit about ultralight backpacking equipment versus lightweight backpacking equipment. This is not a comprehensive list, but I've grabbed a couple of items to take a look at to show you some ways that you can save weight while you're backpacking. Hopefully that'll help you enjoy your backpacking trip a little bit more. I'm not going to give a lot of details about the equipment, so if you have questions or details about the equipment as I'm going through it, please ask all the questions you want in the comment section and I'll respond to them in as much detail as you'd like. All right, let's get started. First, we're going to start out with some clothes. When I was younger, I backpacked in blue jeans, just like these. Loved it. It wasn't until I got older that I shifted to a lighter weight ripstop or canvas cargo pant that saved me quite a bit of weight from the blue jeans. And that helped me lightweight camp a little bit better, and I like these. But then, I needed something that was a little bit more ultralight, because I found that my clothes were adding several pounds to my backpack that I could get rid of. And when I got some of these cargo pants, you can get these from Columbia or North Face or any of the other branded outdoor companies. These things are so light. They're surprisingly warm and surprisingly cool in the summer. They saved me over a pound. The second thing I wanted to go into is jackets. I picked this jacket up at just a normal retail store. It's a great jacket. It's got the polyester fill in it, like a hollow fill, polyester in it. It's lightweight, great little jacket, and I really enjoyed backpacking with it. And then I came across another one similar to it, but this one is a 650 duck down jacket. And although it's only 3 ounces lighter than the polyester jacket, it is quite a bit warmer. If I'm on a shoulder month and it's cold in the morning, low 20s, I like to take a second layer. I got this jacket. This is actually, believe it or not, a hand-me-down from my dad. It was just an old nylon windbreaker type sweatshirt, and it is surprisingly warm and surprisingly light. So I love to take this for lightweight backpacking. But for ultralight, I actually use a piece of backpacking equipment for 2 uses. I use my poncho. So not only for the rain, but I also use this for a layering of heat, an ultralight option for warmth on a backpacking trip. Lastly, I want to talk a little bit about socks. You can use just good athletic socks, but I wouldn't sacrifice on socks. So I use backpacking socks. I get a sock that wraps around and holds your arch tight, and it's warm. These happen to be smart wool. These are great for the winter. I do not wear these in the summer. I wear cotton in the summer. In fact, I don't wear these much in the winter either unless it's really cold outside. When it comes to socks, I wouldn't compare lightweight versus ultra lightweight. I would simply get a pair of socks that works really well for you. Those are the only clothes items I wanted to touch on real quick here. Let's move on to the next category. This is more of a miscellaneous category, just some things that I use when I'm out backpacking. First, we're going to go with the first aid kit. So I know a lot of people just get the little first aid kit you can buy at the store in the little cloth bag with all the little items in it. I've never really liked that. It's too heavy for me. And so to go lightweight, I actually use a little fishing tackle box, and I put in the items I really need. I don't just put in first aid stuff, I put in little survival things as well. Bouillon cubes, aluminum foil, fishing hook, etc. So it's a combination first aid kit, but it is so much lighter than any first aid kit I've ever seen in the store or bought or seen other people take that I just make my own. So you may want to go through and make a little bit more comprehensive first aid kit and something that's a little lighter. I used to take books with me to read. This is just a miniature book, and so that's what I would take. To go lightweight, I'd take a book to read. This happens to be the New Testament. Now I don't take books. I have my iPhone with me or my smartphone with me, and I've got whatever I need on that. So that's great. In fact, that's what I use instead of a camera. I used to take cameras with me when I backpack. Now I don't. I just use my iPhone. Unless, of course, I'm making a video, then I have more than my iPhone. Okay, moving on. Silverware. These aren't what you're ever going to take backpacking, and they're not light. But I'll show you a picture of another set of silverware you can buy in the store. It's usually a plastic set with a knife, fork, and spoon. They're lightweight, so if you want to use them for lightweight, go ahead. I don't do that. I go as bare minimum as I can. So I have a spoon and my pocket knife. Whatever pocket knife I happen to be taking on the trip, that's my other utensil. Pocket knife and a spoon, that does everything you need. I used to take just a small bar of soap in a soap container. And that worked really well, and it was lightweight. I've gone to these. You just get them online. They're paper soap. You take these out, and you put this little paper soap on with some water, and they work like a charm. Second is flashlights. When I was a kid, you took your flashlight, and it weighed a ton because you used D batteries, and then they came out with the little headlamps. I always thought they were kind of heavy, and then a few years ago, I found this headlamp. There's a few of these on the market, but very few that I'm familiar with. This one is called Nitecore. Zoom in on that if you want. This is the lightest, brightest headlamp I've ever had, or flashlight. It's a 1 ounce flashlight and a 1 ounce band for your head. I love this thing. I take it with me on every hike, just more for emergencies than anything else. But this is fantastic and ultra light. Then there's chairs. You know, I always backpacked and my back would get sore, and so I always wanted a chair. And so I've tried all the different chairs over the years, and they've only had them really recently. But then they came out with these lightweight ones. Most of you have seen them, the little 4-legged ones. This is a nice 4-legged one, but it weighs about 2 pounds. And so it is lightweight for a chair. This is the 2-legged one. It's 1.5 pounds. This is what I always use. I take this with me on all my backpacking trips. It's lightweight, but it's not ultralight. I mean, ultralight, you use the logs and the rocks that are in the campsite. You find those in most campsites. And so ultralight, you just don't take one. As far as cooking utensils go, I like these little foldable ones. These happen to be MSR. When these first came out, I don't know, 10, 12 years ago, these were the greatest. I loved them. Now there's a lot of companies that make them, GSI, a few other companies make them as well. But these things are fantastic. They're super light. They work like a charm. I love these things for ultralight. Now lastly, what I'm going to talk about in the miscellaneous stuff is pots and pans. Of course, you want a lightweight pot and pan. They don't make this set anymore because it's aluminum. Most people have the titanium sets for lightweight. And I just take whatever I need in the lightweight. I take maybe just one of the pots, or maybe just the fry pan, depending on the trip I'm going on, whether it's a 5-day trip or with the meals that I'm making, etc. And then of course you have a lightweight stove and a propane can or an isopro can or whatever it is. But when I was a kid, they didn't have this stuff. Or if they did, it was heavy, and only the rich kids had them, and I wasn't rich. So there you go. What we did is we made a keyhole fire. And I'm going to put a picture of a keyhole fire on this video, but we would have a keyhole fire. On the bottom of that keyhole fire, we would have a grill. And it didn't look like this. This is a round grill that you can take out, and it works just fine. But we would just have a square grill. And on that grill, we would take the lightest aluminum fry pan we could find. And we did all of our cooking with one aluminum boiling pot and one fry pan. And we didn't take any kind of a stove. We would just cook on a fire. Just one trick is the soot makes this turn black and stains it. And so what you do is you put soap on this, whether it's the liquid detergent or just a piece of hand soap that you work onto your hands, lather up and then soap up. When you're done cooking on it, when you're ultralight camping, to get the soot off, you just wipe it right off. It comes right off if you put soap on it prior to cooking with it. But there's some ultralight ideas and some lightweight ideas. The last category we're going to touch on is the sleeping category, the tents and sleeping equipment. We'll touch on this real quick, lightweight versus ultra lightweight. We'll start with the sleeping bags. You know, I got this sleeping bag years and years ago. At the time, it was one of the better bags. It was a 10-degree bag, and it only weighed 3.5 pounds, and it was Qualifill 4, and all those wonderful things. It was lightweight. And then as I got older, I needed something warmer. Even though that was a 10-degree bag, over the years it lost its warmth integrity, and so I went to a higher bag, and so now I use a down bag. This is a little 2.1 pound bag. I store it in a big duffel bag so it retains its loft. I also got one that's just a little taller than me. So I'm 6 foot, 6'1", and most sleeping bags are set up for somebody that's 6 foot or shorter, or taller than 6 foot. And so I was kind of caught in the middle, and the long bag, man, it makes all the difference in the world for warmth. So I love this bag. It's a little over 2 pounds, great ultralight bag. Second thing is water filters. I've had MSRs, I've had Purees, what do they call it, Catadines now instead of Purees. That's how old they were. And they're great lightweight water filters, but this is a much lighter water filter, this Sawyer. So I like this for ultralight. When I was a kid, we didn't use water filters. We found a good spring and we drank water out of the spring, but yeah, we don't do that anymore, I guess. So there's some lightweight, lighter weight, and if you want to go ultra light, drink it out of a spring. Again, I'm aging myself, but I got this old tent probably 25, 30 years ago. It was 6.5 pounds. It was a great backpacking tent. You split it up among the people that you backpacked with, and after a few years, the fiberglass poles on it broke, and I replaced them with aluminum poles, and it saved me a whole pound. Going from fiberglass to aluminum. These tents aren't even backpacking tents hardly anymore, so I picked up this ultralight tent. It's 2.5 pounds. It's a great little tent. It's usually what I use if I use a tent. So these are all lightweight options for backpacking. When I was a kid, you had a choice. A canvas tent, which weighed an enormous amount, or sleep under the stars. But then they came out with these nylon tarps that were waterproof tarps. And that's what we slept under quite a bit when I was a teenager. We just string a tarp between a couple of trees, throw a ground cloth down, and that's what we slept on. To be honest with you, if you want to go ultralight, you sleep under the stars, and that's usually what I sleep under. Unless I'm in the desert, then I use a tent because I don't like desert critters. Tarps ultralight. This is what I usually use if I need a tent, otherwise I'm under the stars. These are sleeping pads. When I was young, I didn't use a sleeping pad. I didn't know they existed. Again, it was a rich kid's thing, and hardly anybody had them. But now they've got some great pads out there, and as I get older, I need the comfort and the warmth that goes with them. So this is one of the thermarests. It's an inflatable thermarest. This happens to be a Neo Air, and it weighs right at 2 pounds. But man, this is comfortable, and it's wide enough for my arms to go down on. If I have something that's too narrow, my arms fall off of it, and I don't sleep well. So I like this for lightweight camping, and this is usually what I use. But if you want to go a little lighter, my son loves these things, but again, he's younger. I mean, he's in his early 30s. They're a great option. They're a lot less expensive. They're handy. They're light, and so they add a great option. I would say this, that you can double use. If you want to go ultralight, you can double use your clothes. Like this is a jacket that I was just showing you. If you lay your jacket underneath your sleeping bag, you'd be surprised at how much it insulates against the ground and adds a little bit of cushion too. But that's an option you can do, is you can use your jacket as an insulation for ultralight camping. Okay, the last thing we're going to go over is the pillow. I love this pillow. I don't know, a number of years ago, 10, 15 years ago, my wife took a regular pillow from the store and just cut it in fourths, made a pillowcase for it, and it worked great as a lightweight pillow. It got a lot more loft to it than some of those pillows that you buy at the backpacking store, so I really like that. But if you want ultralight, when I was younger, I used my pants or my shirt or both, and that was my pillow. So if you want to go ultralight and you need something for your head and your neck, you got your pants, double use again, just like the jacket for a pad. I hope some of these ideas have helped you today. I use a combination of the ultralight and the lightweight depending on what my comfort level is and my level of warmth that I need. But I hope some of these things will help you as you go out and explore and discover on your backpacking trips.